Only twice in my life have I played a video game that I called one of my favorites. Then the sequel came out and proved to be just as masterful, if not better. Those games are Ocarina of Time with Majora's Mask and Earthbound with Mother 3. Virtue's Last Reward may be the third time I've experienced this phenomenon. Released by Axis in North America for the 3DS and PSP Vita in October of 2012, Virtue's Last Reward is the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, 2010's 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors for the Nintendo DS. Although the story in Virtue's Last Reward is supposedly self-contained, it makes a lot more sense if you played the predecessor. And besides, if you didn't play the prequel, why the hell haven't you played 999 yet? Stop this review, go play it, and come back. I'll wait. Done? Okay, good. Virtue's Last Reward follows the... You still haven't played it, have you? Do it now. Look right behind you. That's me. That's me right there. I'm going to step out of that wall and or object and beat you with my DS stylus if you don't play 999. Virtue's Last Reward opens a year after the events of 999, as the protagonist wakes up in an elevator. He doesn't remember how he got there, and certainly not why, and then he sees he's been trapped with a hot chick. Now I know this sounds like the start to a bad porno, but please let me continue. The girl's name is Fi, and she doesn't seem to know what's going on here either, and why they're stuck in an elevator, but she does somehow seem to know your name. Before that goes anywhere, a crazy rabbit appears on screen and tells the two of them that they've been chosen to participate in the Nonary Games, Ambidex Edition, a game of life or death. The bunny also tells them that they have a limited time to solve a puzzle before this elevator falls, so they hop to it. Upon escaping the elevator, the two realize that there are a total of 9 participants playing in the Nonary Games in this huge abandoned warehouse. Some of them are strangers, some aren't. The rabbit, calling himself Zero the Third, tells the players that they have to play the Ambidex Games, where, in a fashion similar to the famed Prisoner's Dilemma, they have to choose to either ally or betray their opponents in order to reach 9 points. Once they do, they have the choice to step through the number 9 door and escape, possibly trapping the others forever. Also, getting betrayed too many times means that you'll hit 0, and when that happens, let's say it's quite a downer. To top it all off, Zero the Third tips off that he's only the game master, and that one of you is Zero, the mastermind behind its twisted game. There are puzzles to solve, friendships and enemies to be made, and your life is on the line. What is this place? Who can you trust? What the hell is on this kid's head? Why are you here? Will you ally or betray? So who are these fine 9 people you'll be spending 30 plus hours with? Let's take a look. Your protagonist is Sigma. He's an ordinary college student, meaning that he's horny as hell. He's also likable, honest, good-natured, and sarcastic, basically a lot like Junpei from the first game. There's Fi, a mysterious girl who's cool, calculating, and always one step ahead. Although I liked her character, she always seemed kind of cold and, well, bitchy to me.
Look, I just don't know, alright?
So give me reason to prove me wrong,
Bastard.
Luna is the good-natured pacifist of the group, probably making her the worst candidate in a game where you screw people over. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Dio is kind of the resident douchebag of the group, meaning that he usually gets the best lines for his major assholery. Tenmyoji is the token old cranky guy. He's bitter, likes his alcohol, and doesn't give away his trust easily. However, given the fact that this warehouse contains no lawns for which he can tell people to get off of, Tenmyoji doesn't usually talk too much, except to Quark, an intelligent young kid who's somehow related to Tenmyoji. He's well-natured, polite, and rather intelligent, but none of that matters. Seriously, what the hell is he wearing? Kay is the mysterious player who has memory loss. Seriously, there should be like a drinking game or something for every time that plot point happens. Anyway, Kay is stuck in that suit without any idea of who he is or why he's there. Seriously, somebody partied way too hard last Friday. Alice is not the titular character, and unlike Kay, she has her memories. She's burdened by the past, and usually smart enough to get past any booby traps Zero pulls on her. Oh, could you please put a shirt on? Clover is a familiar young lady who's gotten much ditzier since the last time we saw her. Yeah, she is good looking, but what the hell is she wearing? She looks like a cave woman. Like she should probably be running around in Chrono Trigger or something. Overall, the characters in Virtue's Last Reward are all mysterious, memorable, and strengthen the experience of the story. Each of them has a strong and unique personality, and it's essential to understand what makes each of them tick in order to be successful in making choices. You actually have to get each of these characters' endings in order to get the true ending, as each character houses some pretty juicy secrets about just what the hell is going on. The writing was done incredibly well for these characters, as they feel realistic, the dialogue was fast-paced, and they managed to include some fantastic humor with all of the characters. Although you'll find one person or two whose guts you'll hate, it's hard to deny that the Zero Escape series delivers once again on the character front. Like its predecessor, Virtue's Last Reward is a visual novel mixed with a point-and-click adventure style. You alternate between the novel sections, where you follow a very engaging story and sometimes make choices, and also the escape sequences. In addition, you'll have to play the Ambidex games, where you can choose to either ally or betray your opponent. I'm not going to explain every single rule to you, because then we'll be here all day, but let's be honest here, the only reason you guys are here is to listen to my beautiful voice anyway. Just know that this game is very carefully designed, as like 999, you always feel like it's one step ahead of you as everything has already been planned out. Now let's talk story. Throughout the game, you'll get many small pieces of the overall puzzle, and you can slowly put together some of the bigger plot twists, and there are a lot of plot twists. The suspense and mystery are incredible, as you find yourself addicted very quickly. You really have to be paying attention too, because somehow, don't ask me how, this game manages to be even more complicated than 999, and that is an accomplishment. There's red herrings, you have to keep track of what character knows what in each timeline, etc, etc. However, it's not like that Xenogears kind of complicated, where the story is so stupidly complicated that you wouldn't even care if Simba descended from the Millennium Falcon to battle Gandalf on top of David Hasselhoff. Somebody please make that into a story. Anyway, Virtue's Last Reward is much more careful in its storytelling. Firstly, the game walks you through all of the concepts that it tries to tackle, making sure that you understand anything that's really complicated and puts it in layman terms. So you'll never find yourself saying, wow, they sure pulled that one out of their ass. Also, because of a flow system which I'll go into later, you can always just replay something you didn't understand as many times as you want. Finally, the characters and story are just so compelling that you'll be addicted into moving forward and trying to understand what the hell is going on. In terms of the story itself, it's really deep and engaging, and it forces you to expand your mind and think outside of the box. I love how they incorporated actual scientific knowledge and philosophy into the story, even if it's that crazy pseudoscience that homeless guy at the corner yells at you. With death all around, there's also a great mystery element to the game, as the game feels like one giant whodunit with over 20 endings. There's also a lot to see, so be prepared to sink over 30 hours into this game. My only complaint with the story is that one giant plot twist near the end. Obviously I'm not going to spoil, but that plot twist really made you suspend your disbelief almost too unfairly far. And also, the game was clearly setting up for a sequel. Other than that, the story in Virtue's Last Reward is the core and the effort that they put into it really shows, as this could be one of the best video game stories of all time. Obviously, the biggest difference in Virtue's Last Reward to 999 is the Ambidex games, where allying helps, but betraying helps more. The best part is when you've just betrayed somebody, and then you all look at the results, and you get to see their pissed off reactions.
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
It also works the other way around though, and you'll want to turn the 3D all the way up on your 3DS so you can bitch slap that jerk off who just screwed you over.
Stop betraying me!
It's great how they took an interesting concept like the Prisoner's Dilemma and built a whole game around it. But, on the other hand, having a game about betraying people likens this game to a reality TV show. Still, I can't deny that this is a very interesting deviation from 999. See, in 999, there was always a feeling of a time limit and the looming force of an unknown enemy. In Virtue's Last Reward, there is no time limit, but the constant tension with trusting the other players, or always seeing who's going to betray you, was always a looming threat, and this game could get pretty freaking scary as a result. I don't think it got as disturbing as a certain 999 ending, but it did have me suffering every night at 2 in the morning when I didn't want to run to the bathroom across a dark household. So I was worried about this game rehashing material from its predecessor, but it manages to be unique and well done in its own right. Let's talk about the escape sequences. Throughout the game, there are over a dozen rooms that you'll have to navigate point and click style through, solving math, logic, spatial, and many other types of puzzles in your struggle to escape. There were a wide variety of puzzles and rooms, and it never felt like they really rehashed anything. Furthermore, I really love how they tied the puzzles into the themes of the game. Most of the puzzles were excellent, and there's no feeling quite like cracking that hard problem with that beautiful moment of epiphany. With that in mind, it's time to talk difficulty. The puzzles in the game range from, that was a reasonable challenge that I quite enjoyed, to, fuck you, Virtue's Last Reward, and your f***ing mother too, you Seriously, the puzzles in a few areas, like the pantry, absolutely raped me. Like, I felt violated. And that ice puzzle, oh my god, that ice puzzle. Forget figuring out who Zero is. This was the biggest mystery to me, and the biggest pain in the ass. Fortunately, they introduced an easy and hard mode here. In hard mode, you get very limited clues, while in easy mode, it can basically result in the game just giving you the answer. Maybe it's just for the sake of my ego, but I really would have appreciated a medium difficulty, so I wouldn't feel like such a dumbass. Furthermore, there's the additional challenge of finding the gold folder in each room, which contains extra information about the game's universe and requires a bit of four-dimensional thinking, as well as adding some replay value. Pro tip, you have to get every gold file on hard mode in every room in order to get the super special awesome undisputed true ending. So yes, the puzzles in Virtue's Last Reward were good, but like any puzzle game, you'll probably get stumped here or there. Being a visual novel, you'll be replaying a lot of things, because there are 24 endings and you pretty much have to get every single one in order to understand what's going on. To save you from monotony, a vital aspect of this game is the flow system. Basically the ability to jump to any point in the story you've already been to via a really well organized flowchart. This is a godsend. In 999, one of the only issues I had was the fact that you had to replay puzzles with again and again until you got it right. That's no longer an issue here. Thankfully, you can also skip the text you've already seen. The best use for this flow system is jumping back to any decisions you've already made so you can choose them again. Oh, how I wish I could do that in real life. Hey Susan, how's the baby? Hey Susan, you are fat. The only issue I had with this is how it took away from the thrill of making a big choice. If you can change your decision almost immediately, there really aren't any consequences, and your decisions feel like they don't really matter. Also, jumping from timeline to timeline does come at the cost of some pacing, as you can jump into a timeline forgetting what the hell just happened before that. Still, the idea of jumping from timeline to timeline via the flowchart is a great evolution of the visual novel genre and makes this game even better. The graphics in the game are pretty good. I like how they kind of updated from the portraits in 999 to fully 3D characters here. The characters all have very memorable designs, and the visuals strike this good anime-like feel. I like how each character has enough animations to make them work, and the fact that they get a little more movement really brings them to life. However, I didn't like those little cutscene-like videos. They reminded me of a PS1 era game where they just threw in a cutscene because they could. If there were more videos like this, it wouldn't matter, but I'm just saying, it looks a little awkward. Overall though, the graphics were very strong and detailed, in both the 3DS and PSP Vita versions. The music in the game was good, with some great ambient tunes and the ability to capture the emotions well through the sound alone, which is key for a visual novel. However, I felt like the composer recycled a little too much from the previous game, as many of the tracks are just reworks of 999 songs. Not that that's a bad thing, but the original pieces weren't as strong overall as the tracks in 999, with the exception of one track, Bluebird's Lamentation, which is just a phenomenal piece. Still, the music did its job. The voice acting in Virtue's Last Reward may be the strongest in any game I've ever played. Each of the characters sound distinct, not ridiculous, enthusiastic, and they got some pretty named voice actors. Plus, pretty much everything outside of puzzle sequences is fully voiced, and the game offers both English and Japanese voices, so what's not to love? Although everybody did an excellent job, it was Zero the Third, voiced by Cindy Robinson, who absolutely stole the show. The completely unpredictable and hilarious Games Master was a great contrast to a game about life or death.
Yo, what's up? Siggy! But no! Hey, what are you kids doing over there? We're about to announce the results.
So, to conclude, Virtue's Last Reward is a worthy sequel to 999 and a fantastic game in its own right. The story is masterful, the puzzles are strong, the characters are fun to watch, it's incredibly atmospheric, the graphics were good, and the voice work was fantastic. However, the story and puzzles require a lot of patience with a suspension of disbelief. There are a few minor pacing issues, and the music could have been stronger. It's a deep, engaging, and compelling title that older gamers can really come to love. It's a worthy sequel, and Virtue's Last Reward just completely arrested my attention. Just look at how much work I put into trying to figure out one of the game's many puzzles during class. It just shows the unique and unforgettable experience that this game offers. With first-person shooters and other mindless games dominating the market today, it's great to have games like Virtue's Last Reward that are creative and challenging to their audience. If I can put it any more bluntly, Virtue's Last Reward comes highly recommended, and you should give it a shot. Thanks for watching, and have a nice tragedy.